through it, and it was just in one ear. Now, you have to be careful, of course, and I understand that when you didn't tell anybody for a long time, because if you start saying you're hearing voices, you have to be very careful with that, because people will start thinking you're schizophrenic, and but you have to really rule everything out.
Let's ask Robert, too, Yvonne. Did you, Robert, or any of the other witnesses hear any sounds from these craft?
The witnesses topside, I have heard reports that they did hear a kind of a low hum kind of sound, but of course I was underground 60 feet, so I didn't hear anything, but there have been reports of sounds, yes.
In Leonard's case, Yvonne, he sounds like he's a prime case for hypnotherapy. Yes,
and Leonard, I suspect that when you said you saw a group of cats in the road.
Well, they're sensitive. They hear these things. They pick up on things.
I mean, it could very well be. Also, it could also indicate that could have been a screen memory.
And explain that. What does that mean?
It could have been where screen memory, how it works is the person or the extraterrestrials, the aliens, or
whatever they are,
a memory into the person's mind, making them think that they saw an owl, as we spoke about before, or a deer, or a ambulance, an accident scene. And in reality, it's them, and this is the onset of an abduction experience. And I'm not saying that they weren't real cats. They could have been, like you say, George. They're sensitive, and of course, they could have heard the sounds, but it also could have been a screen memory, which is a good indication. Now, it's up to you, Leonard, if you want to pursue this. Have you undergone hypnotic regression yet?
No, I don't think he has.
No, okay.
He's gone.
Oh, okay. Yes, he sounds like a very prime candidate for this. But again, the person has to be ready and has to be sure, and their life has to be stable, where they're not going through some major stressors, a divorce, moving, buying or selling the house, just because this information can be earth-shattering for someone.
If you had heard that story, would you have taken him on as a patient?
Yes. I mean, I would have interviewed him, of course, and if you were ready, I would say, because again, he's describing a childhood experience with his sister, very, very common. They don't remember everything, but they'll remember bits and pieces of it. So this is what I hear.
Let's go to Euless, Texas. First-time caller is Harvey on Coast to Coast. Hey, Harvey, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, George.
Sure.
Has anybody ever called you and told you about the alien life, UFOs and all that? They have the ability to be invisible. Invisibility.
Yes.
100% invisibility.
Yvonne?
Aliens have the ability to...
And or their craft.
Oh,
right.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I had an incident one night. I'm a member of an outdoor gun range. I go out there at night to look at the moon, and they don't know I'm there. So that's another reason why I joined it. But one night I was out there. I didn't know they came down. Before that, I saw this big ball of light. After all that happened, they cut their light off. I was talking out loud. Up in the sky that night, the cloud cover was as far as you could see from horizon to horizon, 306 degrees, total covered over in a black cloud cover. I was talking out loud, complaining about my friends. I said, okay, now I'm ready to look at the moon. Our camera's ready. How about letting me look at the moon? They opened the cloud cover up for me, circular pattern, right where the moon was, and no place else. I got to see the moon. I said, okay, I've got it. and shut it down, and they closed the cloud cover back up. They have 100% invisibility. I did not know they were there. The only reason why I'm calling now and let you know and know is because they allowed me to see this ability. That cloud cover opened up right where the moon was, perfect circular pattern, and closed back down. And George, please, I need to talk to you off the air.
All right, we'll get your phone number after this, okay?
Please. I've tried to leave it before. They wouldn't take it.
Oh, Tom will take it.
Okay, but they have my name. You know I'm in Euless. And once before, I was out there at the outdoor gun range. I have a problem sleeping. I have to use a CPAP machine to allow me to sleep so I can get some sleep. I have a very bad thing about snoring. I was too tired to come home one evening. I stayed out there, slept in my car. It was getting dark. I heard someone talking to someone else. Shush, he's waking up. Someone was talking about me. I got out of the car. I acted like I did not hear them. I went all around all the 5 places where you could shoot at this gun range. Nobody was there, George. If they could hypnotize me, I would love it. See if I had contact with them after they closed that cloud cover down, and if I heard something else subconsciously. Somebody was there, and the other person told this other one, shush, he's waking up.
Well, let's ask Yvonne, and I'm going to put you on hold. Tommy, get his number. Yvonne, have you had any cases of people who think they have had voices sent into their heads, into their minds, or some kind of messages or anything like that?
Oh, definitely, George. That's very common. Of course, the aliens communicate telepathically. The abductees, experiencers do hear messages many times very clearly. And they really do not have to always be taken from their natural environment. They could be in their own home, in their bedrooms, sitting up wide awake, and hearing the message.
Ken from Pasadena is echoing what we talked about when you were first on, Yvonne, but wants to know, what are they hiding? Why don't they make themselves available to us, especially if they're so-called friendly?
That's the million-dollar question. We're asked that all the time. The favorite line question is, why don't they land on the White House lawn? First of all, they're probably afraid we're going to shoot at them first thing, Well,
and we would, and we have.
That's right. I feel that because they are operating on their own agenda, they have a job to do, and they do it well. And that's why we're not getting many answers. I wish they would communicate with me to at least tell me what they're doing so I could help these people, a little bit more, so that I can have an understanding of what their plan is. But of course, that's not going to happen.
No, not at all. And let me ask you, Robert, in your case, your soldiers, they were armed, right?
Yes. Yes.
Did they contemplate shooting at the object?
I'm sure they did.
But nobody did, right?
As far as I know, nobody did. However, recently heard of a case where the guards, and this happened in 1975, I think, the guards actually shot at the UFO. This was a very similar case to mine.
Not smart to do that.
And they shot something like 185 rounds, believe it or not, and to no avail. It didn't do anything.
Yet some cases I hear, they're very vulnerable to conventional weaponry because they're so sophisticated. It's like an old cannonball. They don't know what to do.
Well, yeah,
I've heard that a lot.
Wow.
All right, well, we're going to come back with some final phone calls for both of you on Coast to Coast AM. Robert's work is called Faded Giant. It's about this incident in Montana. Yvonne Smith, chosen recollections of UFO abductions through hypnotherapy. If you need to email me, that's George at coasttocoastam.com. On our program tomorrow, by the way, we're going to talk a little bit about some monsters. Yes. And then later on, open lines right here on Coast to Coast AM. We'll be right back with final phone calls. Don't touch your dial. Well, as we get close to the holiday seasons in a few months, you might want to order the After Dark magazine. Give it away as a gift to someone you care about. Call 1-888-261-6392. That's 1-888-261-6392. Or simply go online at coasttocoastam.com. And if you're interested in helping out or you want more information on the Washington Press Club, just go to ufohastings.com. It's linked up at coasttocoastam.com right now. We're going to take the rest of your calls for what is left in this hour, and we've got Yvonne Smith as well. Yvonne, when does your next work get completed? Because that's going to be a fascinating series of stories.
Let's see. I'm working on 2 books at one time, George. So
don't mix them up.
No. But I'm hoping to get at least one of them, and I'm hoping that mass abduction one I could finish and have it published by June of 2011.
Super.
Mm-hmm. This should be very interesting. It's a lot of work, a lot of transcripts to put together. And I'm still doing some regression on that case. So stay tuned. I'm hoping keep your fingers crossed. I want to have it done by June to take it with me to Roswell in July, of course.
Okay, let's go back to the phones. Houston, Texas, east of the Rockies. Chuck has been waiting. Hello, Chuck.
How are you doing?
Okay.
George, I've got some information that you all might be interested in.
All right.
I'll give it to you, and then I'll hang up.
Okay.
But when I was in second grade, this was, I guess, the fall of 64 and the spring of 65, I lived on an island, Okinawa, and my dad was stationed at Naha Air Force Base. And one day we're out at PE, or recess, whatever you want to call it, and they called us all in on a UFO drill. Now, a fire drill, you go outside to a designated area, and they count heads. They had bomb drills in those days. You came in and lined up on the walls. But a UFO drill, you actually got under your desk in your classroom.
Hey, by the way, I hope you're not on a railroad track out there, are you?
They're close. They're all over the place. Excuse me. But anyway, I'm a little out of breath right now because I saw you were picking me up. But anyway, y'all could talk about that. You ought to be able to verify this, that they had UFO drills in the elementary schools.
That's fascinating. Anyway, did you ever hear of that?
Go.
Thanks.
I have not heard UFO drills. I certainly remember the drills.
We had bombing drills.
And going, duck and cover.
We had tornado drills. We had all those things.
But I have not heard of UFO drills. That's interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if we could find an old school administrator who would say, yeah, we did it all the time. You never know.
That would be very interesting to research.
Yep, you never know. How long does it take under hypnotherapy? How many sessions do you need to really get the information out of somebody?
Well, it's very hard to say because each case is so unique as far as because of the person. Everybody's different. Definitely you need more than one session, 1 or 2 sessions, because it is a lifelong experience, and it's a tremendous puzzle to put together. So I always caution people not to expect too much in maybe 1 or 2 sessions. And
do you tape it and let them hear themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. I audio tape all the sessions, and they're all welcome to have a copy of it. And every once in a while, I will have it videotaped, with the person's permission, of course, but always audio taped.